In the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war. And a bunch of angry superhuman dads with serious trust issues. Today we are descending into the bolts of the warp to ask the question nobody wants to answer out loud. Who is the strongest Daemon Primarch? These are not your regular super soldiers, no. These are the demigod generals of chaos, bodies twisted by the warp, minds fragmented by betrayal, and egos, well, let's just say therapy would be helpful. Let's rank the Daemon Primarchs who are still around to cause trouble, and find out who really wears the crown of corruption. Let's set the scene. Picture a demigod general forged by the Emperor himself to be the ultimate warlord. Now twist that with a heavy dose of corruption, betrayal, and a complete surrender to a chaos god. That's a Daemon Primarch. After the Horus Heresy, the most rebellious of the Emperor's sons were rewarded by the chaos gods. And by reward, we mean turned into monsters that live in the warp and occasionally visit real space just to wreck everything. Daemon Primarchs are more than just powerful, they are icons of chaos. Each is the ultimate expression of the patron god's flavor of madness. They are engines of destruction, living avatars of plague, rage, access, and manipulation. Think of them as the four horsemen of the apocalypse. If the horses were made of warp stuff and the horsemen were pissed off superhumans with millennia of baggage. But to figure out who's top dog, we are not just throwing darts at an 8-pointed star. We are going by a few key categories. Raw power. How much hurt can they lay down and how terrifying is their presence? Psychic might. Important for a few of them. Spoiler alert, Magnus breaks the scale. Tactical intelligence. A chainsword is good. A chainsword used with strategy is even better. Lore-based feats. Canonically, what have they actually done? Survivability. Are they hard to kill or just flashy targets? Each category helps us measure how dangerous they are, not just in a fight, but in the galaxy-shaping conflicts of the 41st Millennium. Oh yes, Mortarion. He's like if the Grim Reaper had asthma and really liked decay. Mortarion is the Daemon Primarch of the Death Guard, and he serves Nurgle, the Chaos God of Plague, Rot, and Resilience. Once a staunch hater of Psykers, Mortarion now bathes in warp energy and leads his plague-ridden legion with the kind of charisma you'd expect from a coughing corpse. Mortarion was once a noble, if bitter, figure who despised oppression. But his alliance with Nurgle turned him into a bloated, toxic mockery of what he once was. He's led countless plague crusades and even confronted Rebooter Guilliman directly in battle. Despite failing to kill the Primarch of the Ultramarines, he came terrifyingly close, proving that he's not just stinky, he's strong. Mortarion's feats. Personally infected entire star systems with Nurgle's rot. Survived multiple battles against Guilliman. Leads the Death Guard across multiple war zones without logistical support because his army is the plague. Now to his strength. Inhuman durability, impossible to truly kill. His aura weakens and decays everything around him. Wields silence, a scythe capable of slicing through Terminator armor. His weaknesses. Predictable. Mortarion charges in, brings the plague, then tries to outlast you. Can be overpowered by faster or more cunning foes. Despite being a Psyker now, he's still awkward with the warp powers. His hatred of sorcery limits him. Mortarion is an unstoppable tank. His resilience is almost unmatched. He's not flashy, but try getting him off the battlefield. You'd have an easier time relocating a mountain. Now here's a guy who needs no introduction, just screams. A lot of screams. Angron is the Daemon Primarch of the World Eaters and the blood-soaked champion of Khorne, the chaos god of rage and murder. Angron is war incarnate. He doesn't care about strategy, subtlety, or self-preservation. All he wants is battle, and more of it. After his apotheosis into a Daemon Primarch, Angron has raised countless worlds. His return into the Arcs of Omen narrative proved that he's still one of the most physically destructive beings in the galaxy. He can regenerate from almost anything, dish out damage like a wrecking ball made of teeth, and turn entire populations into berserkers with his psychic presence alone. Talking about his feats, Angron recently killed an Imperial Saint and shattered an entire battle line during Arcs of Omen. Led the massacre of Armageddon's defenders during the First War. Even the Grey Knights treat fighting him like suicide. Angron's strength: incredible regeneration, especially when empowered by mass sacrifice. Raw strength enough to tear apart titans. His presence alone incites madness and fury among allies and enemies. But even Angron has weaknesses. No subtlety, he rushes into battle and that's about it. Can be baited and manipulated due to lack of restraint. Banishable if you time your strike right, though he tends to come back. Here's the thing, Angron isn't bright. His strength lies in carnage, not cunning. He's a blender, not a tactician. He's a terror on the battlefield, but don't expect him to lead a galactic campaign. Still, in terms of raw, unfiltered destruction, he might just be number one. Next up is the Crimson King himself, Magnus the Red. If the Emperor had a son who wanted to be both a philosopher and a god-tier sorcerer, it was Magnus. Once the proud leader of the Thousand Sons, Magnus was betrayed by his own ambition and by Tzeentch, the god of change and sorcery. Now a Daemon Primarch, Magnus is one of the most powerful psykers in existence. His psychic might dwarfs nearly everyone in the setting. He's torn apart space-time, clashed with Guilliman on multiple occasions, and led the destruction of entire Imperial battlefronts through sheer warp mastery. Feats: ripped a hole into the Imperial Palace with his mind. Well, that sounds crazy. Went toe-to-toe with Guilliman and nearly won. Destroyed entire fleets with sorcery alone. Now, let's get to his strengths. One of the most powerful psykers in the galaxy. Can manipulate time, space, and probably more. Leads warp invasions capable of tearing reality itself. Weaknesses: easily manipulated by Tzeentch, prone to overthink and dramatic failures, arrogant. His need to be right often blinds him. Magnus can reshape reality. He's as dangerous on a metaphysical level as he is in personal combat. The only downside, he tends to get tricked a lot. Tzeentch uses him like a toy, which means Magnus often finds his grand plans falling apart. Still, if you're looking for godlike power wrapped in tragic irony, Magnus is your guy. Fulgrim is what happens when a perfectionist gets corrupted by Slaanesh, the god of excess, beauty, and sadism. Once a noble warrior poet, Fulgrim is now a serpentine, shimmering nightmare with the mind of a narcissist and the soul of a tormentor. His transformation into a demon prince only enhances martial prowess and flair for the dramatic. Fulgrim isn't just strong, he's surgical in his violence. He killed Ferrus Menace, helped sow chaos across Ultramar, and has returned to lead decadent campaigns across the Imperium. Fulgrim's feats: personally killed Ferrus Menace in one of the Heresy's most infamous duels. Conquered large swaths of Ultramar through corruption, not just combat. Has recently returned to real space in the current timeline, seducing and slaughtering across the Imperium. His strengths: supreme duelist, possibly the best sword fighter among the Primarchs. Seductive and manipulative, can turn enemies into allies. Physically fast, almost impossible to land a hit on. But as perfect as Fulgrim seems to be, he has weaknesses. Vain, he cares more about how the kill looks than whether it's tactically wise. Can be distracted by pleasure or art. More of a scalpel than a warhammer, deadly in duels, but not the best at mass warfare. Fulgrim is deadly, yes, but also vain. He treats war like art and sometimes gets lost in the performance. He's cunning, persuasive, and incredibly fast. In a one-on-one duel, few could best him. But in a war of attrition or logistics, he might get distracted, posing for his own propaganda. Now, let's talk about the benchwarmers, Lorgar and Perturabo. These two aren't active right now, but their stories matter. Lorgar, once the most devout of the Emperor's sons, turned into the architect of Chaos worship. After achieving demonhood, he vanished into the warp. Some say he's meditating until the end of times. Others think he's building up power for a grand return. If he comes back, it could change the game. He's not flashy, but he's got the brains and the faith to rival anyone. Perturabo is the siege master. Cold, bitter, and brilliant. He became a Demon Prince of Chaos undivided, then disappeared. If he's out there, he's likely constructing a warp-powered superweapon the size of a moon. The thing with Perturabo is, if you hear about his plan, you are already too late. So, the moment of truth. Who's the top Daemon Primarch? And remember guys, it's my opinion. If you disagree, please write me your ranks down in the comments below. And beginning with the 4th place, we have Mortarion. Resilient and deadly, but too straightforward to claim the top spot. On the 3rd place, we have the guy with anger issues, Angron. A hurricane of destruction, not smart, but who needs brains when you have an axe, right? On the 2nd place, we have Fulgrim, a graceful, horrifying killer with Slaaneshi power and manipulation. And the 1st place goes to Magnus the Red. Unmatched psychic might and terrifying feats make him the most potent threat. But there are potential threats on the rise. Lorgar, if he returns, I really think he might surpass them all. And Perturabo, the Dark Horse engineer of Doom. Disagree with the list? Let me know in the comments. Unless you put Angron first for intellect, then seriously, I'm sending a nurgling to your house. The Daemon Primarchs are more than villains. They are cautionary tales, corrupted legends, and avatars of madness. Each represents a different facet of chaos, and all of them are threats to reality itself. Like, comment and subscribe for more Warhammer deep dives. And remember, in the 41st millennium, the only thing stronger than a Daemon Primarch is the galaxy's collective suffering. And as always, stay Grimdark.